The following program is a Greenlight Maine production being brought to you in part by Bangor Savings Bank.
It's the way life should be. Greenlight Maine, building Maine's economy. Greenlight Maine, start here, scale here, stay here. It's your Maine and mine, building Maine's economy, one dream at a time. It's the way life should be. Greenlight Maine.
Welcome to Greenlight Maine. Season 9 continues with innovation like you've never seen before. They're all winners, but the top 3 will share $40,000 in prize money to invest in and expand their companies. Before we begin, we want to talk to our judges who have a lot of experience with startups. Welcome David Pease from Bangor Savings Bank, and let's talk about what your experience has been with small businesses.
Yes, I'm the head of talent, diversity, and inclusion for Bangor Savings Bank. I just do a lot of work with workforce. So one of the ways I've worked with startups and entrepreneurs in Maine is just coaching them on when you start expanding and you want to add staff, how do you bring in the best? How do you make sure that you're diversifying your skill sets in your organizations and just kind of getting started in terms of running a business from a people perspective.
Very important. Welcome back, Carlos Mello from the Finance Authority of Maine.
Thank you. And again, I'm Carlos Mello. I'm the CEO at the Finance Authority of Maine, and we work with startups at all stages. We've had the pleasure of working with numbers of Greenlight Maine participants, and so we help in attracting financing. We provide support through the Maine Seed Capital Tax Credit, as well as providing other financing support and working with banks, credit unions, and other financial institutions in the state to help them get capital to move forward.
Excellent. You do so much for our great state. And rounding out the panel today is Marty Groman, who is a growth advisor for Eaton Peabody and also the mayor of Biddeford.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm working with all these startups. It's all about problem solving and innovation. I love that. I moved to Biddeford in 1999 to start a business myself, so I love it when these kind of worlds come together. I'm so excited to hear the pitches today.
Excellent. Well, it's time for our first pitch, and if you care about the environment at all, you are going to love this one. I'd like to welcome FINSULATE with Bernard Hidier, whenever you're ready.
Hello. Can you imagine for a second you're walking down the dock on the waterfront of Maine, and you're carrying a pot of paint and start pouring it in the water. The problem we address is marine fouling. Marine fouling has been there for a lot of years, and it affects the operations at sea, whether it's the speed of boats, fuel consumption, but also the duration of life of any infrastructure you've got at sea. Unfortunately, up to now, the only solution we had was to coat our hulls with actually toxic, inefficient, and very expensive paint. We're coming with an alternative solution. This is a wrap. Our wrap can be put on any boat, any infrastructure at sea. We warranty it 5 years, but we've got boats in Europe carrying it now for 9 years. The beauty of the wrap is that it brings lower fuel consumption over the 5-year warranty. It's not toxic to the installer, to the user, or to the environment. It's also like reducing the operational cost and increasing the availability of the vessel. And ultimately, it's a great story for both investors and customers of these companies. Why Maine? Maine is actually the perfect setup for us to have a launchpad to North America. Maine concentrates actually a wealth of experience from the traditional fishery communities to the booming actually aquaculture activities, and is also door to connection to the rest of the world through shipping companies and container ship companies. But also it's the development for a new area of innovation in the floating offshore sector. We have solutions for all these sectors. We're looking to build from Maine, building and using this wealth of experience and innovation spirit, and also this capacity of cooperating together as the Mainers do, and then conquer not only the nation, but go beyond those frontiers. Thank you.
Well, and definitely a new era in innovation, and Maine is happy to have you, so congratulations. All right, David, kick us off.
Yeah, so who are your partners in Maine, and how are you going to expand the number of folks you're working with?
Okay, so we have been actually very happy to benefit from a lot of support from the Maine community, and we are a member of the New England Ocean Cluster, and I've been installing our first wraps on the boat from the aquaculture sector, and that's a mussel grower looking to not have actually pollution coming to his floats. When we know that the data now is really striking coming from Europe, we know that 20% of the plastic soup in the ocean is coming from anti-fouling paint, and that's paint with heavy metals and biocides. But more worrying for us Mainers is in estuaries and coastal areas, it can reach up to 80%. Okay.
Wow, so great to hear you're partnering with New England Ocean Cluster. Carlos.
Can you tell us more about how is it sensitive to the environment? How is it not toxic? What makes it different?
So basically the inspiration was Mother Nature, and our partner, we are two partners here, Sunshine and myself, here in the US, and we have two partners in Europe. And our main partner is a PhD in corrosion and fouling and a keen diver. And by diving, discovered that any marine animal with smooth surface catches hard fouling, not the sea urchin. 10 years of development, we came to this solution, which is a self-sticking wrap. And this self-sticking wrap has no PFAS, no chemical employed. And the thing is, when you pull the boat out for other mechanical reasons, you just clean it with high water pressure. And that means for small shipyards, the water is able to go back directly to the environment without retreatment, without the cost of retreatment, which is necessary, and thankfully, when you are like scraping and repainting a boat. So there's absolutely no leaching of anything with our product.
So we know, Bernard, that we want to keep the barnacles from sticking to the boats, and you can do it without the biocides, the chemicals. Instead, you do it with this specially textured fabric. Imagine for a second I'm the Commissioner of Transportation, and you want to pitch me on running a ferry service with this instead of the paint. What are you going to say to me?
Well, I would be very open to take two of your boats and compare two of your boats. So we put FINSULATE on one. We put your normal ablative paint that you have to re-put every year and a half maximum, mostly every year. And we compare over 5 years, which is our warranty. But don't forget, we've got boats going 9 years in Europe. So we don't know the life expectancy of the product. And we can get that monitored probably by third-party research entity, either from Maine or federal. And we already have contacts for that.
Thank you.
Any competition in the marketplace?
So there is competition in the sense that there's the classical distribution of the classic paints. And obviously, because of awareness rising, they try to find alternative solutions. You might have heard about silicone or nanotechnology. The problem is, like, when you talk about that, you've got PFAS coming. And I think in Maine, we know what PFAS mean. So we are really the only one, and protected with 23 patents worldwide, that has a mechanical fouling effect on the boat.
So boat owners can save on painting the bottom of their boats every year, and it's good for the environment.
It's good for the environment, and interestingly enough, for boat manufacturers, for example, down east, or even for shipyards, this is also a much better type of job for the staff. Scraping and painting is not a very nice activity, so motivating staff and training. Our project is to train people and then certify them to be able to be distributor and spread the best practices all over the place. Yeah.
Well done, and we wish you all the best with your future success.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
We need to take a short break and hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away. Come on over.
At Bangor Savings Bank, we understand that to deliver the best banking experience possible, meeting people where they are matters. That's how we fulfill our fundamental promise that you matter more. We are more than just a bank. We are friends, neighbors, and tireless advocates for the communities we serve. Wherever our customers are in their financial journey, we are there with them every step of the way.
Right into the lens, okay. Famous brands, rugged quality, and the best values anywhere.
This is where you start your future, where you find the skills you need to succeed and the support to help you on the way, where you will find the power of innovation and creativity and the challenges to help you grow. Find a beautiful environment and a community that inspires, where you can turn your passion into your profession. This is where you start your life. This is where you belong. Thomas College.
Whether you're a small business or a big business, whether you're cutting edge or looking at a traditional industry in a whole new way, whether you're on the coast, in the city, a small town, wherever. If you're an organization here in Maine, if you want to innovate, and if you want to grow, we want to support you. We're the Maine Technology Institute.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. Our next company is an expert in travel and diversity. I'd like to welcome Lisa Jones from Black Travel Maine. Happy to have you whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Jones, and I am the owner and founder of Black Travel Maine and Black Travel Marketing. It is my desire to expose Black, brown, and multi-ethnic people to the beautiful state of Maine. Let me share with you how I discovered Maine. I was invited to Maine during COVID-19 by a friend. Having been in the travel business for 30 years, I knew nothing about Maine except lobster. And I was very intrigued, and I decided to come. And once I got here, having traveled the world, I've been all over Europe and Africa, I had never seen such beautiful natural terrain, but most importantly, what intrigued us the most, myself and my daughter, was how beautiful the people were, how friendly, and how welcoming they were to us in the state of Maine. And then, did you know that a few months later, I attended the Governor's Conference on Tourism, and I learned that 9 out of 10 visitors to Maine are white. So I started to dig into why is that? And then I also did some further research, and I found out through the Mandela Foundation on research, on travel research, that Black and brown people spend $63 billion a year traveling domestically. And I thought to myself, if Maine could only have a fraction of that market, why that market? The market, it's doctors, it's lawyers, it's scientists. Many of them have gone to school in the Northeast. They're college educated. They're members of fraternities which we call the Divine Nine. Why us? I know that market. They're my friends, they're my family, but not only that, I've been booking them for the past 30 years. And we also I have an amazing proprietary booking engine, and I have an amazing team of marketing and media executives, along with our digital strategy and our marketing plan. We tend to sell packages that custom curated tours all over the state of Maine, exposing the rich Black history. And then once we hire a Maine-based team, we're going to be off into the other states for our scale up. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak today.
Excellent pitch, and thank you so much for everything you're doing for our great state. All right, David, kick us off.
Lisa, great meeting you, and I'm so glad you love the state of Maine. So what else can Maine do to help your organization be more welcoming to BIPOC visitors?
Well, if I was to win this pitch today, it's going to allow us to expand our website, have more engagement, more content. We need influencer marketing. The website needs to be completely redone. And the biggest issue that we have is there's no content with Black and brown people enjoying an experience in Maine. So content needs to be developed for that. And that's what I'd be using this money for, to help develop content and to build our reach even further.
Nice. Carlos.
Can you tell us more about how what you're trying to do would tie into your story about someone who wasn't from Maine, who is now in Maine, and bringing this population to Maine to be part of the workforce?
Well, what I realized about Maine is rich with so much Black history and so much cultural history. And just sharing and telling those stories and getting those stories out there is going to make others want to connect with Maine and want to visit Maine. And once they visit Maine, the first entry is to visit a state before you decide you want to move somewhere. So we would first have to have them here as visitors.
Lisa, I always coach entrepreneurs to focus on that next milestone. Sometimes the problem seems too big and too hard, but what's that next step? Tell me about something you've achieved so far that you're really proud of, maybe a tour that went really well or something like that.
So we've had 2 tours already that were extremely successful, and we did one in August, and everyone says it's very easy to sell Maine in August, and they're right. But guess what? We sold Maine in January in the middle of one of the worst storms that ever happened. The state, there was flooding that weekend. Not one person canceled. We had an amazing ski weekend. It was MLK weekend, and we planned to make it an annual event. We had people come from as far away as DC, New York, Chicago. It was just an amazing experience. So I look forward to doing that again. So this is definitely something that people want.
Excellent.
I follow you on social media, and I saw that you were at Sugarloaf, weren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent job. Outstanding. Well, congratulations on all your success so far, and we can't wait to watch you soar from here.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
All right, we need to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, but we'll be right back to hear from our judges, so don't go away.
With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. At Martin's Point, we make your Medicare choices easy. Our all-in-one Medicare plans cover doctor's visits, hospital stays, and prescription drugs, dental, vision, and eyewear, fitness and wellness reimbursements, with premiums and copays as low as $0. As one of the highest-rated Medicare Advantage plans in New England, you can feel confident you're covered. Call or visit us online today to request your free Medicare Made Simple guide.
I am truly awestruck by the innovation that exists.
FAME has fundamentally been a part of keeping the business community here resilient and robust.
Our role is to help.
Come in. To have people in your corner that will guide you through the whole process is really helpful.
When they say, hey, we believe in this, it's a real boost to confidence.
FAME works for Maine, helping businesses and lenders create a bright economic future.
It's about helping Maine grow.
Staying in touch with people helps to strengthen your connection. It helps you stay relevant. And storytelling is a great way to communicate your personal brand. At my PR agency, we call it your brand story. It's what makes you different from everyone else who does the same thing you do. It makes you memorable. It helps you stand out in a crowd. Having people who know, like, and trust you is great. But what if you can also spark joy in others' lives? Then you'll definitely become memorable. You know Marie Kondo? She's the one who has made the term tidying up so popular on Netflix. She talks about only keeping things in your home if they spark joy. Well, what if you could be a person who sparks joy in others' lives? Then you'll always be relevant in their lives.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. It's time to hear from our judges. It's deliberation time. And for our viewers at home, let's quickly review the scoring, its scalability, feasibility, innovation, overall quality, and the ability to stay in Maine and, of course, drive Maine's economy. So let's start with FINSULATE, only because Bernard pitched first.
Yeah, so super innovative, right? Environmentally friendly, 23 patents they already have in patents in Europe and more in the United States. I loved as an HR person that, he recognizes that scraping paint is not fun for employees and that this is much more desirable sort of activity to be able to seal. Again, my challenges are, this is new technology, this is a new way of doing things. So, sort of getting this new technology accepted by boat owners and the marine, sort of industry, and then just even partnerships. So, is this really going to be able to be expanded nationwide without some really big partners maybe that are in the paint business who want to do in a new direction? So that would be my thoughts of challenges for them.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time there to sort of, really get the word out that this is really unbelievable technology when you're used to doing the same thing, painting over and over again every season.
Right. Absolutely. So, building on all of that, what's been said, innovation, top of mind. The ability to scale is there in that they have the ability to create the product and build it, the ability to have it adopted, and we're talking about making it an economic alternative are all wonderful solutions here. As you said, the challenge is you've got to get people to adopt it. All right, it's a great mousetrap, but if not everyone wants to use it, then it'll be a challenge. So I wish them tremendous success.
Yes, absolutely. Marty, how about you?
It reminds me a little bit of a culture change that we tried to push when I started a composite decking company. So you're trying to move people away from what they've traditionally used, which in that case was wood. And I do think that a certified installer network is a really good idea. That can be a way for that company to be known for the work that they do. So I think that's a big plus. I think it's a good approach. I would love to see the product be made in Maine or at least closer. I think that would be a big opportunity as well. But I think if we look at where the world is going, getting away from biocides in paints and a safe alternative to that, this is a heck of an opportunity.
Yes, excellent for the environment. You guys learn a lot off camera. It currently is made in Belgium. If they could move manufacturing to Maine, that would be a huge step forward. Absolutely. All right, Black Travel Maine. Lisa Jones her pitch was amazing.
Outstanding. So happy that Lisa feels welcome in Maine and that she so much loves her new state that she wants to bring especially BIPOC visitors to the state. So super exciting. She's doing luxury travel to Maine, and also she's just working with so many restaurant owners and travel organizations. So she's really helping the Maine economy in so many ways. Again, I think opportunities for her is how much can she grow? What is the sustainability model for doing this? And again, are there going to be additional jobs that will be created in Maine because of this business?
Yeah, I mean, lots of opportunity. She's doing so much for this state, bringing new people in, introducing them. They come here, they love it, they stay here, and that's what we want.
Right. So, building on that again, the Maine tourism economy is so important to our economy. And so adding to that by bringing new tourists and new groups of people in that aren't traditionally been tourists in the state is a huge economic benefit. Can't discount that at all. And the ability to try to build our workforce and making those connections with workforce is wonderful. The challenge that the business has is there's really no barrier to entry. And if she does a great job, there'll be others that will continue to do a great job in helping. And that may be the great thing that happens. It creates a flywheel of people who don't think about Maine as a place to come to. And if that's what she accomplishes, that's a tremendous success.
Competition is healthy. If somebody can do it, that means somebody else can do it too, and that wouldn't be bad, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's funny to think that maybe these businesses, when you first heard about them, didn't have much in common, but actually they really do have a lot in common, and they're trying to change perceptions and the way that we think about the way it's always been done. Maybe there's a perception out there that black people aren't interested in outdoor or hiking travel experiences. Lisa's told us not true at all. There's an immense demand for that. So I see tons of upside there. I also see this great potential to lift up other Maine businesses. She told us about a farm to table or an oyster farming business where she brought a large group, and that was very good for those Maine businesses too. So I see that as a really big plus. I'm just worried about her ability to scale. And that she's able to build a team, which I know she has, but really more in Maine around her so that we can kind of rinse and repeat with this operation and have hundreds of these tours every year.
Thank you so much for all of your insightful comments. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we come back, find out who gets the green light. We'll be right back after this.
Albin, Randall, and Bennett, committed to providing accounting solutions to Greenlight Maine startups, working with businesses and organizations that operate locally and nationally. ARBCPA.com.
Whether you're a small business or a big business, whether you're cutting edge or looking at a traditional industry in a whole new way, whether you're on the coast, in the city, a small town, wherever. If you're an organization here in Maine, if you want to innovate, and if you want to grow, we want to support you. We're the Maine Technology Institute.
Our family's been here in Maine for generations. There's really no other place I'd call home. And I want that for my children too. It's the reason why hundreds of CMP employees, like me, with families living here in Maine, spend days and nights protecting and improving Maine's grid to make it smarter, stronger, and better for future generations of Maine families, like yours and mine.
Fame is at a hand in so many successes.
To have people in your corner is really helpful.
When they say, hey, we believe in this, it's a real boost to confidence.
Fame works for Maine, helping create a bright economic future.
It's about helping Maine grow.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. We just heard from FINSULATE and Black Travel Maine, two amazing companies that are going to do well no matter what. Now it's time to find out who is moving on in the competition. Judges, I'm going to count you down. 3, 2, 1. And that means FINSULATE is the round winner. Congratulations to Bernard. He is moving on in the competition. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And you can see all of our episodes on greenlightmaine.com. And we love your comments, so please give us a like on social and keep those comments coming. We'll be back next week with 2 more amazing companies. Until then, have a safe and successful week. Congratulations.
Greenlight Maine would like to thank our premier partner, Bangor Savings Bank, our corporate partners, and our sponsors. Thank you.